Maybe some changes there potentially. And don't forget, we have a couple of cases out of West Virginia and Idaho that deal with biologically born males competing in female sports leagues. We're going to stand by. We'll have another round of opinions next week, and we'll let you know what comes up.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio called Wednesday's House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing a circus after Representative Sarah Jacobs of California questioned him about a pair of shoes he received as a gift from President Trump. The exchange came after Jacobs criticized Rubio's testimony regarding the recent conflict with Iran.
It seems like you have an issue admitting facts. You won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice. And just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big.
We're talking about shoes. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus?
If you can't call out corruption in this country, then how can you call it out in another
Well, I can't say
country?
anything because you won't let me speak. Why is she leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's go. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
Meanwhile, DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen had a heated exchange with Democrats during a House Homeland Security hearing on department funding.
When will you stop DHS from using its social media accounts to spread bigoted and racist words and imagery promoting great replacement theory?
It's interesting how you make those claims and give no facts, but yet your party's the one that's supporting the guy that's got a Nazi tattoo.
I have the facts.
California is still counting votes in its gubernatorial primary to decide who will be in a position for the primary elections. Anita Vogel has the latest on the recent polls.
The latest numbers show Spencer Pratt trailing Mayor Karen Bass by just 5 percentage points, and the very progressive City Councilwoman Nithya Raman in third. The fact that there will even be a runoff is a bit of a blow to Bass, who has been in politics representing California for decades, but failed to convince LA voters she's done enough to combat the homeless crisis and to help the victims in the Pacific Palisades. And in the heated California governor's race, former Fox News host Steve Hilton is still holding on to a slight lead over another career politician, former HHS Secretary Javier Becerra, with billionaire progressive Tom Steyer a distant third.
Meanwhile, an advocate for parental rights in schools is the frontrunner in the race of the California Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Sonia Shaw, president of Chino Valley School Board, has 24.9% of the vote after Tuesday's primary. These are unofficial results, and there are still 30-plus days of counting, but Shaw feels good about her chances.
We had what you would call like a watch party with the original mom group that, we started here in Chino Valley, and we were all sitting around a table with all of our potluck food. My daughters were, having the live results on their phone, and we had it on the TV, and everybody refreshed their screen, and then everybody started screaming, and I just looked down and I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Shaw said that God gave her a feeling of peace 2 days before the primary.
It was just like I didn't have any worries. It was just weird. And then just seeing it, and then my kid's like, Mom, your name's on TV. And I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. Like, who would have ever thought? And us moms were just, of course, our husbands were there, too. We were just kind of giggling like, oh, this is just so surreal. It's so amazing. I'm so humbled, right? That I get to fight this good fight for California families.
Shaw made headlines in recent years for calling for parents to be notified when their children want to transition at schools. Chino Valley School Board even had a policy that required parents be notified. Attorney General Rob Bonta and others have been critical of the policy, but Shaw said that parents have a right to know, and they do not lose their parental rights when the child is at school. I'm Chris Woodward.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
Hey friends, I want to invite you to our Call to Care Equipping event on Saturday, June 13th in Plano, Texas. If you're a ministry leader, a pastor, counselor, or someone who feels called to help others, this is the event for you. Our theme this year is From Hurt to Hope. You can join us in person or online, so sign up today at hopefortheheart.org/events or text the word event to 70919 to learn more.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR on this Thursday, June the 4th, 2026. And in studio with me is Fred Jackson,
Good morning to you.
Chris Woodward,
Hello.
and in KCKS is our good friend Ray Pritchard. Good morning, Ray.
Hey, good morning, Tim. How you doing today?
Doing well. Now, you're back in Kansas City. You've been back there about a month or so, right?
Well, we've been back here for about 4 days or so. Because, last week we were in Hungary. I was teaching the Bible over in Hungary, and then we went to Vienna, which, by the way, if you ever go to Hungary, get on the train and go to Vienna while you're in the neighborhood. That's a world-class great city. We're here for a few days, and we're going to be in Tupelo next week, having our 20th anniversary celebration for Keep Believing Ministry. So I'll be in studio next Thursday, and in the meantime, the week after that in Chicago, our house here in Kansas has sold, and so we're packing and storing and donating. And
Wow.
Tim, I got so many balls up in the air right now. I'm just dodging left and right, hoping not to get hit on the head.
So you guys decided to move to Florida?
Yeah, full time.
Full time. I got
Gee, I wonder why.
I noticed yesterday or day before yesterday at exactly this hour down in Florida where we're going, it was 88 degrees, but it said feels like 100. So,
yeah.
that's
Florida
in the summer.
Florida and a lot of the Southeast, but Florida, you do the pay. Your reward is in winter, and then you pay the price with the mugginess in the summer months.
We have 2 seasons.
Right.
And one of them is summer.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody, to American Family Radio. Again, Fred, Chris, and Ray, we thank you for listening. And what do you got for us there?
Well, I want to begin with breaking news. That
You're
does not
going to
involve-
break some news, or
Yes.
okay?
Some people may not realize this, but today is legendary.
Okay.
Man, myth, legend, Fred Jackson's birthday.
All right.
Fred, way to go.
Right. Happy birthday, the man, the myth, the legend.
The legend,
Yes.
that's right.
Fred Jackson. Well, Fred, what are you moving towards?
What am I moving towards?
Age-wise.
I have gone by the 7-0 mark.
Okay, you bye-bye to 7-0.
You've gone by that, heading towards the middle of the 70s.
Okay.
Yes.
Ray, you right? You just.
I'm 73, Fred. So who's the oldest on the program today? Is it you or is it me?
You're still the oldest.
I'm still
by a
leading.
few months.
By a few months,
Yeah.
'Cause I'll be 74 in September.
Oh, in September. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm catching up to you.
Yeah. So what are you doing to celebrate? Are you going to have him?
One of the guys, Steve, went and got me a coffee.
Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. And my wife delivered a birthday cake to the newsroom a few moments ago. And the guys are diving into that. Everybody loves chocolate. Most guys do. And then we're going to a favorite steakhouse tonight. So, yeah.
Who's paying?
Other people.
Oh, are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They are. Yes, my wife and daughter here, and one of the nice things already today, I have a granddaughter. She's 4 years old.
Yeah.
And she sent a video wishing me and singing happy birthday. So that was kind of nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Usually I ask you who's paying, because when I go out for my birthday with our whole family, they choose the restaurant.
That's
Guess whose credit card gets pulled out of their pocket.
Whose credit card? That's right.
We have seen Tim's family in some of the places that we've gone to after church, and questions have been raised. You think Tim's paying for that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that.
We do have a tradition of paying for Sunday lunch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we can do that, but we do go to the pizza place usually.
Oh yeah.
Well, and to
keep
clarify, Tim, if you pay for it once,
I know.
you're going to pay for it forever.
It's welfare.
That's right. It's a
these
tradition
people.
now.
By these people, I mean my 18 family members.
All of you are committing fraud.
Yeah, they don't even have the alligator arms. They
That's
just
right.
assume that everything's going to be paid for.
Dad got this.
Yeah, Dad's got this. Dad and Mom.
That's right.
Gotta give credit to my wife. So, but anyway, yeah, we did go to the Japanese restaurant for her birthday, I guess, about last October or whatever it was. And yeah, so you know how expensive it is to have a lot of people around a hibachi grill. It's fun while it lasts. So they bring you they bring you that ticket.
That's right.
And then you say, "Whoa, hello."
Yeah.
You just best enjoy it, not think about that.
Paying for your own birthday party.
That's right.
All right, you're listening to today's Issues on American Family Radio. Happy birthday,
Well, thank you very much.
Fred.
Appreciate
All
that.
right,
Yeah.
Chris, give us some more good news, Chris.
Well, late last night, there was news that broke that Israel and Lebanon had agreed to another ceasefire. And keep in mind that Israel's beef is not really with Lebanon. It's the Hezbollah terrorists that live in Lebanon and like to fire rockets south toward Israel. I mentioned Hezbollah because it's already broken this morning that Hezbollah terrorists are now rejecting the latest ceasefire agreement reached between Israel and Lebanon, throwing yet another wrinkle in this situation.
Can you throw wrinkles?
Well, you can in the South.
Can
Okay.
I thought throw wrenches.
There you go. There
Okay,
you go.
I was just trying to help.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I just had some cake a minute ago and, sugar high.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it throws a wrench in this situation because Iran has already told the U.S., hey, everything's off because Israel and Lebanon aren't getting along. You guys should do something about that. So Trump is still out there saying that talks are continuing with Iran. That remains to be seen because none of us are actually in that room and part of those talks.
Okay. Fred?
Yeah, well, it's no surprise, but let's remind people, and I get frustrated when I read the mainstream media, they never put context to the latest news from Hezbollah. And the context is this. Hezbollah initiated this latest round of attacks against Israel when Israel and the United States initiated the attack against Iran. Hezbollah then began pouring missiles into northern Israel. And Israel is simply, once again, responding to an attack that was initiated by the terrorists. And by the way, when I think I spoke to this a little earlier in the week, when you read the mainstream media reports about what Israel is doing in Lebanon, number one, Israel is not attacking Lebanon. Let's be clear about this. They are attacking the terrorists, the Hezbollah terrorists that live there. Number two, Israel targets areas from which Hezbollah is already shooting missiles into Israel. Let's be very clear about that. The mainstream media rarely mentions the fact that Israel is responding to an attack. It's not initiating an attack. These Hezbollah terrorists, they put missiles inside of schools. They put missiles inside of apartment buildings. They put missiles inside of hospitals. And then they fire those missiles from those locations. Israel responds, and all you get from the mainstream media is how many people sadly die when Israel responds to the attacks. So we try to make that very clear in our stories, that Israel is simply responding to attacks from these terrible terrorists who don't care about life. They don't care that citizens are dying in Lebanon because of where they place their missile launchers.
If Hezbollah and Hamas would lay down their arms, you could have peace in the Middle East.
You could.
It's that simple.
Yep.
And they're not going to get the desired goal of Hezbollah and Hamas, that is to eradicate the Jewish people and drive them into the sea and take back the land that is now the Jewish state of Israel. It's not going to happen, okay? It's just never going to happen. It's not going to happen. So as the world stands now, so they're only what they're doing. The terrorist groups is that they live to be terrorists. They just let's get up and kill a few Jews. That's what we do today.
Mm-hmm.
And so they try to, and they're willing to die for it. And oftentimes it's Fred. Ray is just an endless cycle, and the Hezbollah, the Hamas, they train their kids to hate the Jews and hate Israel so that it perpetuates itself. So go ahead.
The most unsurprising part of this is that Hezbollah has decided they're not going to go along with the peace deal. Well, of course they're not going to go along with the peace deal. Lebanon, the nation, they want peace. Israel, the nation, they want peace. Hezbollah is not really a part of Lebanon. They're a client of the Iranians. It's the Iranian regime that provides the money and the munitions that keep Hezbollah fighting. So why in the world would Hezbollah? Why would what possible peace agreement would Hezbollah ever agree to unless it was that Israel has decided it's going to disband itself, give up its claim, and wipe itself out as a nation? Since that's not ever going to happen, yeah, of course, Hezbollah is going to keep fighting. So I think to myself, first of all, I was surprised, as everybody was, when this was announced last night, and we wish Mr. Trump all the best in the negotiations that are going on. But this just shows, Tim, how fractured the situation is in the Middle East. The problem here is not between Israel and Lebanon. The problem is Hezbollah, and I don't know how you bring, quote, them to the table and get them to agree to anything.
Yeah. Well, me neither. The Israeli people are very resilient, and they're very tough-minded, and they're human too. They get tired of having to deal with this situation. But if they let their guard down at all, they're going to be, mass casualties. There's going to be, so they have to always maintain a position of overwhelming strength with their military.
Yes.
All right. Next story.
Well, we all know that gas prices have shot up over the past couple of months as a result of what's going on in Iran. The good news today is the national gas average is down about 20 cents in the last week, but it's still not cheap. And somebody that would agree with that is Indiana Governor Mike Braun. A couple of months ago, actually early May, Governor Braun sat down and said, you know what, I'm going to try to do something to help Hoosiers with gas prices. And Governor Mike Braun suspended the gas tax there in the great state of Indiana, and he actually just extended that a few days ago. It's going to go into July. And as a result of his suspension of the state gas tax, Indiana Governor Mike Braun has managed to help Indiana have the cheapest gas prices in the United States of America. Indiana, for example, the statewide average is $3.55, which is cheaper than it is here in the Southeast, where we benefit from being very close to refineries. That's one of the reasons why the Southeast tends to have the cheapest gas prices. We also don't slap a bunch of stuff on it like California does. But I've got some audio from Indiana Governor Mike Braun, former senator turned governor. He was on Fox today talking about his suspension. Clip 10.
Well, as you know, I come from the world of running a business and signing the front side of a paycheck. One of the few, the 6 years when I was in the Senate, when you're governor, you've got things you can actually do without having to get a gaggle of 60 senators together. We've been running our state more like a business. We're saving money on the cost side, and we got the hottest economy in the Midwest. So we've got the ability to dip into rainy day funds, to do things, because affordability, it is the issue. And if you're not tuned into your property taxes, your utility rates, cost of health care, and yes, gas, because you stare at that weekly, we had the ability to do it. And being an entrepreneur my entire life, it was easy to see that's something you did do. We will be able to replenish a lot of that to the locals, even our own state government, through our own reserves. So we did it in May. I extended it again in early June, and now we're going to do it to where it's going to take us through July.
The guys, he did say that he has the option to extend it further once you get to July. So again, Indiana has the cheapest gas prices in the country. We're not saying that the average of $3.55 is cheap, but it is certainly better than, say, California, where the average is $6.
Wow. Well, it's quite a challenge that the governor is putting out there, I think, because people in other states are going to be asking, okay, why can't our governor do this?
Okay, hold on just a minute. What did he do exactly?
He got rid of the state gas tax. He suspended it for the time being.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
if you could, why do you have it in the first place?
Well, the stated reason for it is to help raise money for roads and bridges, which
So
he's
we don't
saying,
have that money anymore?
Well, they're going to
I'm not in
basically
Indiana, I'm
raid
just-
their rainy day fund to help put up that money for the roads and bridges for the time being.
Okay. Do you guys see my point?
Yeah, it is a big issue. And that's been one of the things raised in California where a lot of the people running for governor out there have talked about getting rid of the gas tax.
I'm not criticizing
right now.
Governor Braun or this idea, and I'm glad
it's
he
a great
did it.
point.
I'm sure the people of Indiana. But when taxes are suspended in the name of helping people who are, who are struggling, making ends meet, and then you go, if you can suspend the taxes, then why did you have them in the first place?
Very true.
Huh?
Now, I will say that a lot of states don't bring in the revenue that they used to because the federal government has been requiring automakers to make cars that go further on a gallon of gas. So it could be that it's not even bringing in the money that they thought it was 40 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. What, they have a rainy day fund? Is that what
They do have a rainy day fund, yeah.
Okay.
But to your point, seriously, like I watched the 3 debates between the 11 billion people running for governor of California, and Steve Hilton and a number of people, including a few Democrats, have talked about how they would suspend the gas tax out there to try to bring some relief. But some.
How much is gas tax in most states, Fred? Do you know, or Chris? Do you know?
Not offhand, no. But you mentioned Steve Hilton running as a Republican for governor out there in California. He says his intent is to bring gas down to regular gas down to an average of about $3. Think about that.
I tell you,
from $6 to $3.
If gas in California is $3, it's like 75 cents here.
Yeah.
So I hope he's successful.
Hope it works.
Yes.
All right, by the way, Sandy Rios will be with us at the bottom of the hour. I called Sandy Debbie Downer because she always brings us some some bad news, but and she's ready to bring it at the bottom of the. I'm just teasing. She brings us reality. How about that? And it's not always bad. Sandy has some good news too.
Sure.
But along the way, but I gave her that moniker a few times when she's been on with us before. But Sandy will join us. She's a host of Sandy Rios 24/7 podcast, hosted here at American Family Radio, and that's very popular with our listening audience. What's your next story, Chris?
All right. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been making some appearances at congressional committees. He was before senators a couple of days ago. Yesterday, he spoke to representatives in a House committee. And one of the Democrats there, Sarah Jacobs, I'm not sure offhand which state she's from, but Sarah Jacobs at one point brought up his shoes.
Yeah.
And
people want to listen to this.
Oh, yes.
So
it's an absolute clown show.
Stop what you're doing. Okay, this is a real congressional hearing yesterday, House of Representatives, and who's the lady representative?
It's a Democrat Representative Sarah Jacobs.
Sarah Jacobs making her state proud. Where's she from again?
She is from the great state of California, 51st Congressional District.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Democrat California.
Land of fruits and nuts. And
she apparently brought them with her.
So here we go with her taking on Senator Marco Rubio.
Clip 5.
It seems like you have an issue admitting facts. You won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice. And just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big.
We're talking about shoes. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus?
If
This is
you
crazy.
can't call out corruption in this country, then how can you call it out in another
Well, I can't say
country?
anything because you
That
won't
is
let me
the
speak.
question.
Why is she leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's go. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
She was going to the shoe store.
Fred, break that
my.
down for us.
Well, the background on this is that President Trump purchased some Florsheim shoes for some of his cabinet members, I think.
Yes.
And Marco Rubio gladly accepted these Florsheim shoes. Apparently, they're very nice, a nice pair of shoes. And she decided to mix shoes into a question about Iran. And no wonder Secretary of State Marco Rubio was confused. I mean, he says, it's a circus. We're here to discuss what's going on in Iran, and you wanted to discuss my shoes. At one point, she says, those are nice shoes. And Marco Rubio said, how the world, you can't even see them from where you're sitting right now.
Now, here's all the reason why people, number one, need to listen to this show and follow AFN, but two, actually find the videos that are the subject of news stories, because we just played that clip, right? But here's the headline from the Daily Beast. Little Marco loses it over big shoes the president gave him, which is not what that story is about.
Right, right.
And the shoes fit.
Was she implying that the shoe didn't fit? Was that what was behind her comment, that his feet were too small or something like that?
Yeah, that was like he and Trump had some disagreement about the shoes.
Anyway, the world's on fire.
Yeah,
And
we cut that down from 90 seconds to 29.
World's on fire. He's the Secretary of State, and she's asking.
You know, Marco's done well.
Yeah.
Lately. Well, he's been doing well for quite a while.
Yeah.
But
he's the most effective member of Trump's administration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I know we have to go to a break, but perhaps when we come back before we talk to Sandy, means we're on the topic of Democrat insanity.
Yeah. Those words are the same.
Here's the problem. The insanity is what they want to bring into law.
Yeah.
I just brought a story into the studio before we started today. Here's the headline, folks. This is in New York State. Democrats want to replace the word mother with gestating parent. They want to replace the word father with non-gestating parent.
Where is this?
This is New York State.
You mean this is a bill in their legislature?
This is a bill that
Democrats have brought forth?
A woke new bill.
Yeah.
That's being introduced to New York.
I'll share the link for you. It's a new.
So what do we do when we have Mother's Day? What do we call it then?
She is the gestating parent day.
But
you know what? Those are some great gift cards.
let me tell you something. As a married man and a proud son, do not call your wife or mother a gestating parent.
Gestating parent. It will not go well.
Happy gestating parent.
Otherwise, Tim
day.
will have to buy your lunch on Sunday when he's feeding his other kids.
It will not go well.
Can't these Democrats read the tea leaves, that the more they speak and do these kind of things, the more the American people are saying, and we're paying you a salary to do this stuff?
Yeah.
Right, right.
Well, that's also the party of we don't know what a woman is.
Yeah.
But they want you to believe science.
Now, some Democrats, a few of them, are warning, like you're warning, Fred, against Bill Maher and some of these others, maybe, but that wing of craziness in the Democrat Party seems to be the one with the momentum.
Yep.
So, all right, we will be joined by Sandy Rios when we get back from this short time out. You're listening to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. So, did President Trump ever buy you any shoes, Fred?
No, he did not.
Maybe for your birthday?
He did not.
Marco Rubio said, what did he say? This is a clown show?
Circus.
Florsheims are nice shoes.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I'm a 14 double F.
There you go. We'll be back momentarily. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Centuries ago, a man wrote, "I keep working toward that goal." He had not arrived, yet he continued to work at arriving. This man knew a great truth of life, a truth which kept him working at the task. Paul knew that the thrill of life is in trying. Success in life often brings satisfaction, but the thrill which life offers is in trying to be successful. The thrill of life comes not from achieving our goal, but in the attempt to achieve it. The thrill is in trying. Our goals in life should always be a little beyond our reach. This keeps us trying. As long as we have a goal in front of us, just a little beyond our reach, we have something to work toward. This makes life worth living. You know, life would be meaningless for me unless I had a goal that was a little beyond my reach. Back when I first started writing, I couldn't even give my work away. I approached many publishers with a manuscript for my first book, and I'm sure not a few of them had a good laugh about it. But I wanted to write, and regardless of what others had to say, I continued to try. Now, since that first effort, I've been able to accomplish some rather, for myself at least, good goals. But for me, the thrill is not so much in accomplishing the goal as it is in trying to accomplish that goal. Each time I nearly reach a goal I've set for myself, I push it just a little bit higher because the thrill is in trying. We should never let the fear of failing keep us from experiencing the thrill of trying. We should never cease to try to go higher and farther because of fear we will not make it. We will be richer simply because we tried. And also, whether we make it or not, we can experience the thrill which comes from trying. Perhaps you've wanted to do some things but have not attempted them because you were fearful you could not accomplish them. Well, attempt them. Go at them with the best you have. Do not be afraid because you might fail. Make an effort. You will be richly rewarded, and you will also receive the thrill that comes in trying. The thrill of following the carpenter from Galilee is in trying. You know, when you are a Christian, you're always working toward a goal which you know you will never reach. But there is a tremendous thrill in trying to reach that goal. God is continually calling us to be a little bit better, a little bit bigger than we are. Like Paul, we never arrive, but we keep working toward that goal. The man of Galilee himself experienced the thrill of trying. The odds against his accomplishing what he attempted to accomplish in the manner in which he attempted it were infinitely great, but he was willing to try. The thrill, I say again, the thrill is in trying. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. Our fondest dreams, the dreams God has planted in our heart, can come true. And the thrill of life is in trying to make them come true.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Hey, we are announcing 2 tours coming up in 2027, March of 2027. We're going to Greece and we're going to Italy. The Greece tour we call the Footsteps of Paul, and you're going to follow the footsteps of St. Paul in the country of Greece. And then the Italian tour, the Tour of Italy, Venice, Florence, Pisa, Rome. We're calling the Make Lasagna Great Again tour. And these are coming up in March of 2027. And if you want to read all about them, the itinerary, the cost, everything you need to know about these tours coming up in March of Greece and Italy, go to tours.afa.net. That's tours.afa.net. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of good fellowship, and see some of the most historic and iconic sites in the world.
Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. According to his great mercy, he has caused us to be born again to a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. 1 Peter 1:3.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. I'm Tim with Fred and Chris and Ray. And what kind of shoes did you say, Ray, that Marco Rubio was talking about there?
Florsheim shoes. Those are, I mean, Tim, that's top quality. Top quality.
He said President Trump bought him some.
Yeah, that came out a couple of weeks ago. There was a cabinet meeting.
Only the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only the
And
best.
so that's what the Democrat Congresswoman lady was.
Mm-hmm.
She was mocking him about, right?
Trying to.
Yeah.
Trying to, but he gave it back to her.
Oh, yeah.
And as I've said, I think Marco Rubio so far is the most impressive member of the president's cabinet.
Yeah, whoever let's say it's either Vance or Rubio in 28 that is the nominee. The other people better be good debaters.
Yeah. Oh, Vice President Vance, he's done a good job too. I'm not dissing him in any way. I'm just saying Marco Rubio has stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And the Secretary of State's role, quite frankly, is as high profile, if not more so, depending on what's going on in the world. And there's always something happening, as the Vice President's role, especially in terms of policy. All right, well, joining us now is Sandy Rios. Sandy's host of Sandy Rios 24/7 podcast. Heard twice a week here we host Sandy's podcast on American Family Radio. Good morning, Sandy.
Oh, I haven't been in radio very long. I forgot to open my mic. Sorry about that, Tim, but I had a little more experience. I know to do that. How are you, Tim? It's so great to hear your voice.
Thank you, Sandy. Yep, doing well. We had our family vacation last week, and I'm back in the saddle, and Fred turned 70. What do you say?
72.
72 today.
Happy birthday, Fred.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
And you know
very
what? A gift to you is those elections in Great Britain and Scotland and elsewhere. The part of your country's affiliation.
Yeah, I wish that would spill over to Canada right now.
I know, me too. I mean, no, I know. Well, I guess it's not as good a birthday present as I thought.
Well, anyway, a lot of things going on with elections because even though it's not a presidential election year, a lot of congressional, obviously the Congress every 2 years, but I'm talking about the House of Representatives and then the Senate. A lot of Senate races up this fall too. You wanted to comment on California, did you, Sandy?
I do. I don't know if you guys have been following Spencer Pratt, whose ads are off the charts. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, we have talked about that. Some
Sorry.
Spencer Pratt.
Mike-
For those
Mike-
who don't know, Spencer Pratt is a Republican candidate for mayor of Los Angeles. It's kind of like a unicorn. Yeah, and and so he's giving it his best shot out there, shot at winning. He's going to be facing Karen Bass, the current mayor, in a general election is it going to be November?
Yes.
Yes.
We got that long to wait. Okay, but anyway, go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah. Well, Spencer is actually, I think, a serious candidate. It doesn't sound like it from his resume. But when you hear him take the stand on the issues, Tim, he has such passion. He lost his home in Pacific Palisades fire.
Right.
So it's very personal to him. And so one of his first ads was him standing in front of his burned down house, living in a camper trailer, but hitting, not silly stuff. His ads really they're very, very clever. And by the way, he's not actually creating them, but people in Hollywood who really want him to win are doing this apart from the campaign. So all that to say, he came in yesterday. Yesterday? This is Thursday.
Tuesday.
No, Tuesday. He was neck and neck with Karen Bass, who was the perpetrator, I think, of that fire. She was out of the country. They had just fired a bunch of firemen. They had no water to fight the fires. And now she's made it very hard for people to build their homes. And they're actually planning on selling that land to the Chinese. So, but wait, there's more. I mean, there's other issues. So Spencer's been hitting her on all of that. All that to say, he came in tied with Karen Bass. The top two advanced to the fall election. It doesn't matter what party. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Tim. All kinds of ballots are coming in because all California voters get mail-in ballots. They have to mail their ballots in, and they don't have to have them in until the day of the election. And then all their signatures have to be verified, so it takes weeks. I think they 1% of the vote went up overnight, so they've counted 1 more percent. And I don't know how much they. So
are you telling me that they mail in votes for?
Yes.
They don't have go to the polls.
No. Well, they're all. Let me make sure
Yeah.
What I understand is every person is mailed a mail-in ballot.
Right.
To me, that meant that they don't have polls. I
Okay.
actually didn't look that up, but I'm not
Chris,
sure.
can you look that up?
I got you.
But the one thing I wanted to say is, and I know that this is not a subject. Well, I just say Smartmatic voting machines are still used in California. That's
Ooh.
the one developed in Venezuela by Hugo Chavez and his engineers from their Venezuela's comparable to MIT, their organization. They took their top and their best, and they developed the Smartmatic machines, which would be able to change the votes out. That's how Hugo Chavez won his election. And so then they brought them to the United States, and then Dominion came.
Well,
So California
yeah.
still uses them. So they, especially in LA County. So I think Spencer Pratt is toast. I'm just telling you right now. I don't think
Well,
there's
he
any
needs
way
to
he
take
can win.
advantage of those, though, doesn't he? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He's not controlling the vote count. So
What were you going to say, Chris?
Yeah, I have found something from the city of Los Angeles which speaks of voting by mail and voting in person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
all
they
right.
can do both. Anyway,
Vote twice.
Oh yeah. Oh, one more
Go
thing
ahead.
about Steve Hilton is in first place right now.
Yeah.
But of course, all those ballots have to come in. So me thinks things will change, but that's the way it is now.
Okay. So, yeah, Steve Hilton, the former Fox News show host,
Yes.
running for governor. Spencer Pratt, who came to fame by a reality show, I guess it was, a few years ago. I'm not familiar.
Yes.
Yeah,
with
when
it.
he was in his 20s.
But he is a man of common sense, and also is trying to appeal to people in Los Angeles who see their city, the expression, go into hell in a handbasket, and wants to do something to stop it. They're going to host the Olympic Games.
That's right.
In 2 years.
Spencer Pratt would, or whoever's the mayor after all this, is going to be the mayor during that.
In Los Angeles, gonna be there. But all right,
Well,
Julie, go ahead.
Well, the good news, I would just say this. The good news is that conservatives in California are waking up, and they're becoming more and more of them. There is a real uphill battle, but it's amazing what Spencer Pratt has done and also what Steve Hilton has done. Because, a few years ago, no conservative would have broken through. And it's a terrible tragedy.
Let me get your and Ray take on this. The question I'm about to ask. I know, obviously, everybody knows you are both Christian conservatives, and that's your worldview and your political views. But Chicago, both of you lived in Chicago, the Chicago area, for a long time. Chicago is like Los Angeles. It's representative of a big city in America. Chicago is the third largest, most populous city in America. I'm talking about the metropolitan area. So, why do they continually vote Democrat, Sandy? And then Ray, you can comment on this. In those big cities, seeing the deterioration of the quality of life, crime, homelessness. Spencer Pratt talks about we can't even get the potholes filled here. I mean, everything seems to be run so inefficiently, and this it just seems like people would go, let's give the Republicans a try here. Maybe a different way of looking at government would improve the quality of our communities, our neighborhoods, and our lives. But yet they just continue to vote Democrat. Same old, same old. Do you think, Sandy, you first and Ray, do you think it is the fact that the unions control cities like Los Angeles and Chicago, and so that's the unions are in the hip, they're joined at the hip with the Democrat Party? Do you think that's the primary reason why the voting people keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result? Go ahead.
Well, I know most about, when it comes to that, I know most about Chicago, so I'll address that. Years ago, I had a very dear friend, and his name was Hiram Crawford. Ray, you might remember him. He was a pastor on the South Side and who had the courage of a lion. Great big guy who has 5 sons that are all great big. And we used to call his wife Mother Crawford. I called her Mother Crawford, too. She was just delightful. And he would go to the city council meetings and rail against them. He didn't care what they thought. He wasn't afraid of anything, but he was an anomaly. But he told me once when I was talking to him, he said, Sandy, this is what's happening. The Democratic Party in Chicago pays the pensions of the black pastors. They provide their pensions. Now, there may be more to, but that's what he told me. He said that's why they all push Democrats, and of course they aren't constrained by the law. They push candidates in their churches, and that's why they continue to elect Democrats. But there's another part to it that I want to be sure and say. In the last few years, there's a movement in the black community, and one of them is called Chicago Flips Red. And there's black MAGA activists, and these are smart people who understand. Sometimes they're from the inner city, but they may not be quite as articulate, but they nail the problems, and they're mad because they see what's happening to their community. I used to have a lot of black callers on my show in Chicago, and I remember one black woman calling me, and she said this. She said, Sandy, our youngsters, our teens, they're dead. You look in their eyes, they are just dead because of drugs and violence. There's just no soul there. And it's been that way for decades. So black conservative who have clear thinking are trying to change that.
Yeah. Ray, go ahead. What about?
You know, Cindy, I remember Pastor Crawford. I didn't know him like you knew him, but in fact, I hadn't even thought about him in over 20 years. But there was a man, you called him a lion. That's what he was. He didn't care. He did not care what anybody thought, and he got up and spoke the truth. If you want to understand Chicago, go back and read Mike Royko's book on Old Mayor Daley called The Boss. And when people glibly talk about the machine, well, that book describes how it was put in place generations ago. And Chicago, Sandy, I was thinking the Chicago that you and I knew, that was one thing. The Chicago of today in 2026 has declined morally and spiritually and educationally and financially in almost every possible way. And I think, Sandy, what you said is right. If there's going to be an answer, it's not going to be from white suburban conservatives. First of all, there's not enough of us. But second, it's going to have to come from inside the African American community, the black community.
Too. I think so too.
As you said, it's beginning to happen, and we ought to pray and wish them every success, because that's where the answer, it's got to start there. That's where it's got to come from.
Absolutely, totally, spot on.
Yeah, but what about my question about the unions? Unions aren't popular everywhere in America. They used to be more popular than they are today. And I'm not saying there wasn't a time and place for unions. There was, but as far as the big cities go, when you try to explain why they won't even consider voting for an alternative to Democrat candidates, even though things never change and life seems to be going, the quality of life going down. It's not seemingly, it is going downhill. Why don't they change? What's the connection there?
Well, you're absolutely right about that, Tim. I'm sorry I didn't respond to that. I would say, just as a little history lesson, unions go way, way back. The earliest I don't know when they started, but the earliest I know was when Mao Zedong was trying to transform China and take over power. They have been notoriously linked with communism and collectivism. That doesn't mean that every union member listening to us, is that. Right. But the leadership, and that is the way they have pushed people in unions, and because they control their lives, really, because if they don't walk the line, there's punishment, and it's very violent. Maybe not every union's violent, but certainly in Chicago, the SEIU is very violent. So they put the fear of God in them. Now, there are, in the last election, maybe 16 and 20 also, the unions broke ranks, and supported President Trump, which was, I don't mean the union bosses, although that did happen too, but union members broke ranks and actually voted for President Trump. So that's shifting also. But in cities like Chicago and Los Angeles, I doubt it's shifting. Right.
All right, you're listening to today's issues. What's coming up on Sandy Rio's 24/7 next podcast?
Well, you're going to ask me.
Or tell us what
It's-
happened in the previous one.
No. I love this week. Last week I talked to. This week I talked to a political consultant that I met at a meeting in D.C. Thank you for letting me go, Tim. And I really liked him. He was so full of life, and he was very conservative. And you're going to ask me his name. I'm just going blank. But I loved that conversation, and he gave us a real good rundown of how he sees the midterms, and also just how political consultants work, how corrupt political consultants have become. He's also a pollster, so he gave us a lot of interesting polls. So that is already up, I believe. And the second one, I interviewed Tim Gagline, who's the vice president of Focus on the Family. Tim and I go back a very long way. He was a good friend of mine when I was president of Concerned Women for America 20 plus years ago. And so Tim has written, I think, his 5th book, and he talks, I think it's called Things That Matter. And it's like getting down to the core of what really matters, family. He talks about marriage. He talks about children. I know that sounds like generic, but Tim is a scholar. He reads all the time. So he fills his books with incredible stories and anecdotes and stats, a lot of history. And so it was a great conversation, and I highly recommend that book. I think it's called Things That Matter. The Things That Matter.
So for all of Sandy's podcasts, she releases 2 a week, and they're very popular with our listeners here on American Family Radio. Go to afr.net, click on podcast, and you'll find the banner there for Sandy 24/7. And her podcasts are listed with the topics that she covers, again, 2 times a week. All right, go ahead.
I would just say
Yes.
Rick Shafton was the pollster and a political consultant, Rick Shafton.
Okay.
And also the book is called What Really Matters. And thirdly, I want to say I just interviewed gubernatorial candidate from California, Che Ahn, the week before that. And that was a great conversation, Tim.
Okay.
Because he's a pastor, and he was running for, they kicked him off the ballot, but he was in 2 different debates to begin with. He's just got great insight, and I love talking to him.
Wonderful. All right, thank you, Sandy. Take care. Talk to you later.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Great to talk to you.
See you, Sandy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye, Fred. Happy birthday.
All right, thanks.
That's Sandy Sunshine right there, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
tell you what, yeah, all positive.
Yes, all positive. All good all the time. You're listening to Today's Issues. That's the name of the show on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Fred, Chris, and Ray. Go ahead, Chris. What's your next story?
Well, let's go back to, I guess, the 80s when Whitney Houston
Big hair.
had a song about, I believe that children are the future. We should teach them well and let them lead the way, right?
I think that was a cover of somebody else's song, but you're correct.
Probably the Carpenters.
Yeah.
All right. So I bring all this up because our friends at places like the College Fix, Campus Reform, they've come to the realization that many kids, or young people, I should say, they're adults, in college can't read. They can't read basic sentences. They can't read words with like high school level vocabulary, okay? And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I stumble over things too. People hear me stammer sometimes on this program. But what you're about to hear is 44 seconds of kids in college not being able to read some basic sentences. Clip 13.
The Carey tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't even know. I can't say that. Tried to.
What was that we were hearing?
They were trying to read a sentence that said things like, the beneficiary has tried to embellish the extortion scheme.
Okay, the reason I sent that story around, which I found last night on Daily Mail, was because these were college professors that were being surveyed and saying that, I'm talking about large schools even.
Yes.
Saying that their students that are coming through now from high school America can't do basic things that they need to get a college degree. In other words, they can't do math. They do math at a 7th grade level, but yet they graduated from high school. They can't read except on a 6th grade level, although they graduated from high school. So this is a trending problem according to. Did you read this story, Ray? Did you see this? Yeah. No.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But did you?
Yeah, there have been and a number of stories to back up what you're saying, not just this one.
Right. And we're talking broadly and generally now. We're not talking.
Yeah.
So there. Go ahead.
Well, here's an interesting aspect of this. I think it was professors from UCLA. We did a story last week, Chris.
Yes.
These are professors who are probably very woke most of the time.
Yeah, these aren't conservatives.
No, very liberal.
Right.
And they're pleading, bring back the ACT test. Because we've got
and the SAT.
And the SAT.
Excuse me for interrupting, but college entrance exams.
Yes.
That have been around forever.
They're saying you need to bring those back.
Right.
Because we got kids coming in who can't do grade 8 math.
Right.
All right?
Right.
We're bringing in kids. How do we expect them to read college texts?
Right.
They can't read.
Right.
And so we need to bring back, are you ready for this?
Right.
This is radical. We need to bring back a certain standard.
Right.
You have to meet a certain standard in order to enter college.
Right.
Because what has happened over the last 10, 15, 20 years is that instead of the standard, a standard to get into university, what has happened is we have to have quota systems. We have to have a certain percentage of this group getting in, a certain percentage of this group. And it has resulted in some kids who are very smart, case that went all the way to the Supreme Court, they could do math very well.
Right.
They could read very well. But we're not going to let you in because you don't fit one of these categories.
Yeah.
Well, what we've learned, Fred, is that you can have the standard or you can have the quota.
Yes.
But you really can't have both at the same time.
Yes.
Because once you decide the quota reigns over everything else, the standard is going to lower and lower and lower. Eventually, it's going to disappear. But you're going to fill the quota with this ethnic group or that national group or this cultural background, but the standard has disappeared.
Yeah. I will say that having covered education for most of my time here, some people, and not even just Democrats, but some people are of the opinion that we need to put more money towards education. But we already put more money towards education than other countries.
Yes.
So
listen,
it's not
when
spending.
a long time ago, when I was going to finishing high school, you had to take what was called the ACT. Some states had the SAT, which is your, and you had to have a score of 18. What they had, I don't know, at the time to qualify for senior college. Any senior college, you had to, well, at least the one I went to, Mississippi State University, you had to have an 18. Or you were ineligible. You had to then go to junior college, which I did. I did go to junior college.
I did too.
But nothing wrong with going to junior college or what they call today community colleges. But I'm just saying the standard was there, and if you couldn't meet it, and what happened is, bizarrely as it sounds, a lot of the standardized testing, the ACT, and others, were deemed racist.
Yeah.
I don't know how a test can be racist, but it was like, no, this is a racist entrance exam. And so a lot of states did away with it. We'll talk more about this next segment, but that's what happened right there.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Teenage years can be a time of trial. It can be really difficult, but it can also be the most fun and the best years of your parenting.
Dr. Jessica Peck is a pediatric nurse practitioner as well as a professor, author, and mother of 4. Dr. Peck is host of the Dr. Nurse Mama Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Central, and find her podcast at afr.net. This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Authorities arresting dozens of illegal aliens and several managers at a South Carolina business accused of using fraudulent identification documents. South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson says the suspects were also engaged in identity theft.
This isn't just about the manufacturing of the documents. This is about stealing people's identities. Many of these documents involved social security numbers of real U.S. citizens. It involved real driver's ID license numbers of real citizens here in South Carolina. So people's identities were obviously being compromised as part of this racket.
The Federal Communications Commission announced yesterday it was reviewing a federal program that subsidizes the internet for schools and libraries. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr says he's concerned the program is leading to more screen time for children and worse academic performance.
We want to take a fresh look at that program to make sure we're supporting great educational outcomes. Are parents really empowered? Do they know that their kids are using these connections? Are there the right types of safety filters in place?
The national defense analyst says the left is persistent in fighting President Trump's efforts to ban so-called transgenders from military service.
As we reported on AFN, by a 2-1 vote, a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit recently voted against the Trump administration's ban of so-called transgender service members. But the ban will remain in effect for now as litigation continues to play out. The ruling would apply to plaintiffs serving in the military, but not those seeking to join. Bob McGinnis is a national defense analyst and president of McGinnis Strategies, LLC. He says these people are persistent.
They're just radically bent on using the military as their social experiment platform and defanging it in terms of warfighting skills. This is all about their re-engineering of America, and it has nothing to do with our ability to defend ourselves. In fact, it hurts us because it drains us of necessary resources to medically care for our people and doing preventative medicine.
McGinnis says the Congress will never lift a finger to codify the president's transgender ban into law.
Even if the Republicans had a healthy majority, there are enough Republicans that are intimidated by this topic. They don't have the intestinal fortitude to do what's right.
I'm Chad Groening.
Former Alabama football coach Nick Saban wants to save college sports. Caleb Castile explains.
In Washington, D.C., former Alabama head football coach Nick Saban, as well as other collegiate sports figures, testified in Congress on Wednesday in support of the Protect College Sports Act. The bipartisan bill is aimed at overhauling the system where players earn millions and are allowed to move freely between schools. The bill would regulate payments to athletes, limit them to one penalty-free transfer per career, and create a rule that restricted coaches from leaving their teams during the season. Here's what Saban had to say about the way that college sports is trending down on things that he and so many others in the world of sports work to build up.
All the things that we work so hard to improve on, we're going to start seeing slide in the wrong direction because we've created an environment that really does not promote personal development or that is going to create success for their future.
The proposal is a bipartisan bill introduced by Texas Republican State Senator Ted Cruz and Washington Democratic State Senator Maria Cantwell. Attendees to the hearing also included Notre Dame's athletic director Pete Bavacqua and Pac-12 Commissioner Teresa Gould. Noticeably absent from the event was any representative from the SEC, who along with the Big Ten publicly opposed the bill, saying it leaves critical issues unresolved. Both Senator Cantwell and Senator Cruz spoke on the dangers of losing non-revenue sports, such as Olympic sports, if the current state of the college sports world continues like this.
The failure of us to act here will make us responsible for the outcome of future Olympic teams if we don't come up with a solution.
Senator Cantwell said that if there is no solution, it makes lawmakers responsible for the consequences of this landscape.
And finally, economists are looking at mixed news on the job market ahead of the monthly employment report coming out tomorrow morning.
The number of people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time rose by 13,000 last week to 225,000. It is slightly more than expected, but within the range of a healthy job market. Continuing claims those remaining on benefits declined by 8,000 to 1.77 million for the week before.
More news online at afn.net. I'm Rusty Pugh.
AFA Action takes attacks on the family seriously. The enemies of the family constantly employ new tactics to try to sneak past our radar. They know if we stand together, their evil plans will fail. Your gift to AFA Action allows us to stay vigilant against their onslaught. And if you give this month, you'll receive access to the Cultural Institute video When Your Faith is Illegal by Frank Harbor on AFA Stream as our thanks. You can make your gift today at afaaction.net.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on American Family Radio on this Thursday, June the 4th. You're listening to AFR. I'm Tim with Fred Jackson and Ray Pritchard, and now joining us in studio for the last 24 and a half minutes of the show is Steve Paisley-Jordahl. Good
Hey,
morning,
everybody.
Steve.
Hey.
Do you know it's Fred's birthday?
I do know it's Fred's birthday. I had a piece of cake.
What did you get him?
I got him a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you thought you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
kind.
awesome.
Very kind.
Yeah.
It's Fred's tradition to treat us all to our favorite Starbucks drink on our birthday, so we figured we
Gotcha.
repay the favor.
I got you. Okay, good deal. Well, what's going on, Steve? We got some good news to report.
We have some very good news to report. There is a new cancer drug that is it's making it's what they're calling a grand slam home run. So it's called daraxonrasib, and just to tell you how different this is, you wouldn't think that you'd get a lot of emotion out of a cancer seminar, but I want to play you what happened at a convention of cancer researchers when they talked about this drug. Play cut 14.
The primary endpoint of the RASolute 302 study, evaluating overall survival in the RAS G12 population, demonstrated a statistically significant improvement in overall survival.
That's a standing ovation that went on for minutes.
And it's for pancreatic cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's the big issue.
One of the more deadly.
One of the more deadly. So this is how it works. Cancers are basically cells that are stuck in the on position and keep growing and don't stop growing. There's a gene called the KRAS gene that acts as an on-off switch, which regulates that. It gets stuck on. This drug is what it basically does is it binds with that KRAS gene to shut down the cells that are growing. The gene that's stuck on it turns it off and keeps it off. So this is the result. The cancer among just 13% of patients who get this diagnosis survive 5 years. Only 3% survive 5 years or more when the disease is caught at an advanced stage, which it often is because it doesn't have early symptoms or there's no routine screening.
We're talking again about pancreatic cancer.
Pancreatic cancer.
So this drug that you heard it was hard to pick up that audio.
Yeah.
That what that was.
There's a lot of medical talk anyway. I don't think you would have understood it, Tim.
Well,
but,
yes, but I don't like to show off. But what you got there is it's a professional convention of cancer researchers, right, and probably oncologists and people who do understand that profession, and a talk is being given by someone. What's it? Do you know the person's name?
I don't know who is.
Okay, but the talk is being given, and he's explaining what you just talked about, the success with this drug in slowing down or fighting back against.
It cuts the risk of death by 60%.
That's what studies have shown.
That's what the studies are saying.
That's revolutionary.
It is.
Okay, so I want to play that again. I know it's hard to hear, but can you tell us where this was? Took place?
I don't know. I don't know. It
was the last few days.
Yeah, the reason I brought it in was because of the standing ovation. What they're saying there, I wouldn't be able to explain to you.
Right, I know. But they're giving a standing ovation. These people are probably hard to get up out of their chairs.
Right.
Okay, they're stoic scientists, right, and researchers, and yet here they're cheering like fans at a football game,
right?
Which is good to hear.
Yeah,
because it's
impressing them. Yeah.
Let's just play that one more time.
The primary endpoint of the RASolute 302 study, evaluating overall survival in the RAS G12 population, demonstrated a statistically significant improvement in overall survival.
So that story I found on the on Daily Mail, It may be some other. I'm sure it's of the internet, all over the internet.
I have a New York Post story on it here in front of me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can we put that on our Today's Issues Facebook page? Brent is doing that so that people can read about it themselves, because they may have family members
That's right.
that are dealing with this.
Daraxonrasib is what the drug is called.
It's still in a study stage, but it's very exciting, the results.
It'll take a while for it
The
to be
FDA
approved.
has to approve it.
I mean, it's not available right now.
From what I've read is that the cancer cell, pancreatic cancer, the problem cell, has a very smooth surface. And the medications that they've used so far have not been able to penetrate and bind through that smooth surface.
Right.
But this new drug apparently is very successful at doing that. So it's exciting. It really is.
Yeah, Ray, have you heard about this? Or?
Yeah, and coming at it from a personal point of view, I am so glad every time I hear about these breakthroughs, Tim. The whole field of immunotherapy we are living in the age of medical miracles.
Yes.
Coming down the pike on an almost weekly basis. And this is big because pancreatic cancer, for such a long time, it was a death sentence. You got that, you didn't even live. Typically, you weren't even diagnosed until late, and then you didn't live very long. And so this drug has opened the door to give hope to folks like that. But they're making advances, Tim, with lung cancer and liver cancer and this glioblastoma that affects the brain. So we are living in days of modern medical miracles, and I'm glad we can put this out for our listeners, because I bet some people will read this and take real hope.
Amen.
Good news is on the way, friends.
And maybe one day, in the not too distant future, cancer will be eradicated. You know.
They're making great strides. Now, cancers are not all equal. I mean, they each have different treatments and such. Cancer isn't one thing.
Cancer survival.
Right. It's not one thing. Right.
Yeah, it's not one thing. Okay. It touches everybody. Okay. Everybody listening to me right now has either gone through themselves or had a family member or an extended family member or something. Cancer touches everybody in one way or another. Fred, you and Ray both had it.
Prostate, yeah.
Prostate, same thing, right, Ray?
That's right.
Same thing. My wife had Hodgkin's lymphoma. She is a cancer survivor from that. That's a disease that's cancer that's very treatable if you catch it early enough. But I'm just saying, so there's a lot of advancements being made in the field of oncology and cancer treatment, and may God, as they say, add His blessings to this research so that we can save more people's lives. And the thing about my ultimate point was cancer. Almost every cancer is treatable if it's caught soon enough. The problem with a lot of people is with pancreatic cancer, I understand it's hard to know your symptoms. Right, till it's
advanced,
too advanced. But then a lot of people, sadly, don't go to an annual doctor's visit and ignore symptoms, and so what could have been caught by even a routine physical, where they do blood work and other things, at least you could have talked to a doctor. Wasn't, and so people just ignore things till it's too far gone. But I would encourage everybody to go to the doctor. I'm talking about your general practitioner once a year for what we used to call an annual physical. Everybody needs to do that. I think, Fred.
Yep. It's advisable.
And the older you are, the more it's important.
You can catch a lot of things with the doctor looking you over, and blood work, just basic blood work, and so there are some things that you can do that are preventative, right?
Yep. That and lifestyle.
Lifestyle, yes.
There's
for example, popcorn.
Popcorn, everybody knows. It's good for you.
It's good for you. It's an antioxidant.
That's right.
Fred, I agree. Diet means
diet. I've got one big blueberry bush at my house. I'm enjoying that right now.
There you
Blueberries
go.
are so good for
superfood.
Yep, it is.
You guys, you're right. Now, what do you do with a person like me who I love tasteful food? Okay.
As opposed to tasteless?
As opposed to distasteful food.
Well, now blueberries are tasty.
Yeah,
There are health foods that are tasty. I agree with you, but I that's not the first thing that enters my mind when it's time to eat. It's that lasagna is awesome, and so
yeah.
But I have learned
sprinkle some blueberries on your lasagna.
I have heart disease runs in my family, so I have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I do. I don't go crazy with it. I do eat my share of broccoli and try to do that. But I don't.
Everything in moderation.
That's right. Like
lasagna
with extra meat sauce.
Right.
That's right.
I think extra meat sauce is moderation to me. All right, next story, Steve.
All right. So the president's cabinet, generally one of their jobs is to go report to Congress. And our Secretary of Homeland Security, Markwayne Mullin, went to the House Committee on Homeland Security. He was given a report. And he ran into a Texas congressman named Al Green. Now, you may remember Al Green from the President's State of the Union address. He's the guy that's got kicked out 2 years in a row when he stands
He had
up
a long
with his
career
cane.
in music, right, Al Green?
Yes.
Let's spend the night together or something like that. Wasn't that his hit?
That was.
Or have I got it to two Al Green?
You might have a different Al Green going.
Okay,
Different guy.
This was the Texas congressman, and you remember him from shaking his cane at the president and holding up the signs and everything.
Yes, right.
Well, he was he lost a primary, so he has been voted out of Congress, but he's finishing up his term, and he's not in a very good mood. And he was not in a very good mood.
And he's got a cane.
And he's got a cane.
Bad combo.
Was not in a very good mood when he ran into Markwayne Mullin, the Secretary of Homeland
Now,
Security.
they didn't physically run into each other, right?
No,
This was
but
a
it
hearing.
was-
This was a congressional hearing.
It was. It was all
Okay.
but a physical confrontation. Cut 6.
Mr. Secretary, would do what happened to Ruby.
Are you calling me a racist?
A racist?
I'm asking a question.
Reclaiming my time, asking him to shut up.
That's a pretty.
Shut up.
You just say shut up.
Up. It's my time.
I'm not going to let
No,
anybody call me a racist, Chairman.
I never called him a racist. It's my time.
It is, gentleman will suspend.
You will
Gentleman
not.
Suspend.
Tell him to shut up.
Gentleman suspend. No, the gentleman will suspend.
He's not in a very good mood.
That's funny. Shut up, the gentleman. Shut up, the gentleman. The what's that word?
Position.
Between the word gentleman and shut up is funny right there. It's not funny that civility is lacking there.
No.
But so Markwayne, the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Markwayne Mullin.
Yeah, he former senator from the state
Correct.
of Oklahoma.
Mhm.
So he did the guy call him a racist there?
So basically, he was a roundabout way. He was showing pictures of this is what racists do, and he had a couple pictures of President Trump. And if you do this, you're a racist. One of the things is he showed a picture of Markwayne Mullin confronting another witness who happened, I think, to be black. And so he was saying this is what racists do. And so why he didn't say you are a racist, he was calling what he had done in the past, Markwayne Mullin, racist. So
what was the relevance to
Homeland Security?
Because he's there to testify about what's going on in the work of the Homeland Security, which
Correct.
He took over for Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
And so he's doing he's there to answer questions from the
members of Congress.
Members of Congress, and this guy goes off on racism.
Yeah, and as
what did that have to do with anything?
Absolutely nothing. And as we've seen, I don't know how many we played on the air, but we certainly have reviewed quite a bit in our meetings. Oftentimes, senators come prepared with clips that their staff thinks are going to get them social media, clicks. And so Al Green was just being Al Green. He's just kind of perpetually angry.
Everybody's seen him, even if you don't know what his name is. But interesting, he lost in a Democrat primary.
He did.
Now, is he from Houston?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a redistrict issue,
Okay.
one of
But
those
he-
things.
but he
But
may be
you know, it's a favorite tactic of the Democratic Party. They like to throw out the word racist. You know, we've had this confrontation going on at the detention center in New Jersey over the last couple of weeks. You've had the rent-a-crowd out there. And of course, somebody in that crowd's going to say, you're racist because you're holding people from an Hispanic background.
Right. It's an ICE detention center,
Yeah,
right?
it's an ICE
Yeah.
detention center. It gets really crazy. There were some Democrats the other day. There's a story out there saying, "Isn't it horrible that these people being kept at the detention center, they're being separated from their children?" Well, when you break the law,
that's what happens.
You go to jail. Your kids don't go to jail with you.
Right.
That happens.
Right.
And so, but the mainstream media just loves the mainstream media for the most part. I mean, they are in bed with the Democratic Party. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is today, without apology.
Yep. Next story, Steve.
All right. Do you remember back in January when protesters in Minnesota stormed City's Church in St. Paul?
Yes.
Including the
Why did
Don
they
Lemon.
do that?
Well, they were one of the pastors at City's Church also was a member of ICE. He was an ICE agent or maybe I don't know,
Part-time job.
Part-time jobs with ICE, and of course anything ICE was. They were protesting, so they walked into a worship service Sunday morning and started yelling in the middle of the worship service. Well, St. Paul's city attorney has reviewed all the relevant records and found, well, I guess we don't have enough evidence that there was a crime committed, so we are going to drop all the charges. The city of St. Paul thinks you have as much right to crash a church service, take it over, scream at the families, as you do to attend a church service. So they got things a little bit backwards. Now, this is the city of St. Paul. There are still federal charges that are pending with regard to this protest.
Under the FACE Act.
Under the FACE Act,
Yeah.
the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act.
Yes.
But they have dismissed this as far as Minnesota crimes.
If I was a betting man, if it was a mob that went into a Islamic gathering,
oh man,
mosque.
Yeah. Do you think the charges would be dismissed?
No. No
It
way.
It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen.
Now, did they actually vandalize or attack people physically? And what I saw from the video was they were a few of them were shouting at the parishioners inside a church gathering, which is appalling, and it does violate the words of the FACE Act, which was we don't have time to go into, which is a federal law. But did they?
There was no physical There was no physical contact. They're just disrupting the worship.
Well, then what would you charge them with?
Disrupting trespassing.
But they've been dismissed of all charges.
Yes,
is what you're
by
saying.
the state. By the state.
By the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
But to your point, Fred, if this were a bunch of, let's say, white people,
Evangelicals.
white men who went into a mosque and started shouting down the attendees who in the middle of their worship service, their Muslim worship service, whatever they call that, I'm not sure, gathering, that it would have made national news. And the
go right to jail.
They go right to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Right.
No question.
Especially in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, you're listening.
So it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to disrupt the worship service.
Yeah.
In Minnesota.
Yeah.
As long as you don't physically hurt somebody, it's okay to disrupt a Christian worship
That's
service.
what they've said here.
And protesters have continued to go back to this church. Now, they're not going in during the service, but they are shouting at families who are walking to church and in front of their children and calling them names and just...
Yeah, because one of the pastors is a part-time ICE agent.
Yes.
That's the reason they went in there, right?
That's
this
correct.
was during the height of remember the two people were killed and a lot of ugly confrontations in the street as the ICE agents were threatened, and they went. That's what led to the deaths of these the two people. But basically, you had a very liberal activist in Minneapolis, St. Paul area who did not want to see ICE arresting anybody for any reason. even though they were coming after drug dealers and sex offenders and all kind of people that are people who had warrants but that didn't matter. ICE, these people, bizarrely, don't want any deportations at all.
Yep.
They want everybody. If you get here, it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, what kind of criminal activity you're in. This branch of the Democrat Party, not all of them, they want them all to be able to stay and carry on and not be arrested.
It's interesting. To your point,
Yeah.
Karen Bass the other night, she's the mayor of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And she'll likely continue to be the mayor of Los Angeles. In her speech after the results started coming in, she said, "We are all Angelinos. We don't care where you came from or how you got here."
Right.
What was she saying?
Yeah.
We don't care if you're in the country illegally.
No, that doesn't
We don't
matter.
care if you broke in.
Right.
You're one of us.
Right.
And that's the thinking of whether it's the mayor of Chicago or the mayor of New York City, that's their thinking. They don't care whether you broke into the country.
Yeah. Well, they don't believe in borders.
No.
So, anyway, go ahead, Steve. We got about 3 minutes left here.
If you are in Georgia, you might run into a 4-foot-long lizard. The state is asking you to catch it and kill it if you do. It's non-native, it's invasive, and it tends to eat things that they need to keep. They don't.
Right?
How Steve are we to catch a 4-foot lizard?
Very carefully.
Like you go first. I'll watch.
With a lizard trap?
I don't know.
I don't know about this.
But
they're called the black and white tegu, and you're supposed to kill them. So I suppose a handgun or a rifle would work.
Rednecks can kill almost any critter.
That's true.
That's right.
So I don't. So I think.
Where did these lizards come from? Do we know?
Native to South America. I don't know how they got here, but apparently
somebody
two of them
brought
did.
them up here and dropped them off.
Yeah.
Dropped a few of them off in the woods, I think.
Well, if they got them in Georgia, don't you think we got them in Florida?
Oh, yeah,
too?
you do. They don't believe in borders.
They probably
That's right. They don't believe in borders.
Here's what I'm guessing happened. Somebody went, some local pet store owner got these 2 lizards, which were probably at the time 6 inches long, and somebody said, "Oh, that'd be a great pet." And they got to be 2 feet, 3 feet, about 3.5 feet. They said, "I can't do this." Really? They just kind of let them loose in the backyard, and there it is.
What kind of lizards are they? They're 3 or 4 feet long,
They're
right?
up to 4 feet long, and they're called black and white tegu, T-E-G-U lizards. They can weigh more
But
than 10
they're native
pounds.
to what, South America?
They're native to South America, but they've been found in tombs in Tatnall counties in southeast Georgia.
I don't like any part of this story.
as a near full-time Floridian, you don't.
That's
you don't
right.
Like
I don't like this story.
What I don't know,
at
Ray,
all.
is if when it gets cold, they fall from trees or not. That would be
iguanas.
Sure, they do.
But iguanas,
iguanas fall.
Iguanas are about what? They're about 6 or 8 inches long, typically, right?
Yeah.
They're not.
They can be
not
bigger
4
than
feet.
that.
They can be bigger than that. But, what'd you say, Fred?
Yeah, no.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, don't like this
Fred
at all.
growing up in Canada, he didn't have to deal with all these lizards. and
No,
stuff.
Iguanas and stuff like that.
but they're smart. They don't go to Canada because they freeze.
That's right. All right, we're out of time. Tomorrow's trivia, so it'll be Trivia Friday tomorrow here on this show. Today, let's see, JJ will be here. I think Ed's out. Ed's got
Jonathan's in, right?
attitude problem. So I don't know, but JJ will be here. He's in good spirits. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Hey, we are announcing 2 tours coming up in 2027, March of 2027. We're going to Greece and we're going to Italy. The Greece tour we call the Footsteps of Paul, and you're going to follow the footsteps of St. Paul in the country of Greece. And then the Italian tour, the tour of Italy, Venice, Florence,
Pisa, Rome. We're calling the Make Lasagna Great Again tour. And these are coming up in March of 2027. And if you want to read all about them, the itinerary, the cost, everything you need to know about these tours coming up in March,